Hello viewers, this is Aravindar Annai Arut channel. Welcomes you. How are you? In this video, we have to see knowing Kerala's differential political economy. I request you to all to kindly watch this video in full. Now we shall go to the inside the video for getting more information. Kerala's political economy has undergone a radical shift in the last 6.5 decades, and particularly in the latter half of this period, when EMS Namboodiripad of Communist Party of India (CPI) was elected Chief Minister of Kerala in 1957. He became the first communist leader in India to govern a state. With the Communist Party of India Marxist or CPI-M having lost power in West Bengal and Tripura, two states where it ruled without interruption for decades. Kerala is now the last place in India where a Communist Party runs an elected government. The CPI-M and its partners in the Left Democratic Front (LDF) rightly trace their legacy to the times of EMS. But the challenges facing the current CPI-M are very different from what EMS faced. The reason is that Kerala's political economy has undergone a radical shift in the last 6.5 decades, and particularly in the latter half of this period. The communists captured power in the state by championing the politics of radical land redistribution and improvised on its economic benefits with rapid advances in the social sector, especially literacy. Today, agriculture has a negligible role in the state's economy. The state's demographic profile is the most skewed in India towards people from older age groups. This also means that unskilled workers earn way more than what their peers get in any other Indian state. A lot of the state's well-being and its growing consumerism and sustained by overseas remittances, particularly from those in oil exporting countries in West Asia. These characteristics make Kerala a unique outlier in India's political economy landscape. Kerala has among the most equally sized farms in India, but there are hardly any farmers left now. Farmland concentration, when seen by size of operational holdings, is among the most equal in Kerala. According to the latest available data, 2012 to 2013 from the National Sample Survey Organization's NSSO report on household ownership and operational holdings in India, Gini coefficient for size distribution of operational holdings in Kerala was 0.342. 0 and 1 represent perfect equality and inequality, against an all India average of 0.516. Only 4 states, West Bengal, Jammu and Kashmir, Odisha and Himachal Pradesh, had a low Gini coefficient on this count than Kerala. However, what separates Kerala is it comes to farming is the fact that there are hardly any farmers in the state. The NSSO report found that Kerala had the smallest share of households engaged in cultivation. Even among households engaged in cultivation, Kerala had the highest share of households where no other member apart from the head of the household was part of agricultural activity. This means that not only does Kerala have the lowest employment depends on agriculture, it also has the lowest amount of what is often referred to as disguised unemployment in agriculture. Then, Kerala has the highest unskilled wages in the country due to its aging population. The left leaning political culture in Kerala also means that the state witnesses a large number of political protests and shutdowns. Even when things are normal, unions are an influential player in Kerala's economy. Among the most historically infamous union related practices in Kerala is what is referred to as Nokkukuli, a Malayalam word which literally translates to wages for watching. This involves unions charging a fee for overseeing loading and unloading activities at residential or commercial enterprises if their demanded wages were not agreed to. While the prevalence of Nokkukuli has come down in the recent past and attempts to end it have had a bipartisan support, Kerala still has the highest wages for unskilled workers in India. Kerala's wage premium is only expected to increase going forward due to its aging population. The share of persons aged 50 and above was 38.7% in Kerala as on March 1st, 2021, according to the projections by the report of the Technical Group on Population Projections November 2019. This number was just 28.2% at the All India level. This means blue collar union do not need to resort to strong arm tactics anymore to preserve their material interests in the state. Then, story of remittance tailwinds in the Kerala's economy. Kerala is India's only state with 4 functional international airports: Thiruvananthapuram, Cochin, Kannur and Calicut. The massive demand for international air travel needs to be seen with the widespread international emigration from Kerala, primarily to the oil exporting countries in West Asia. A 2020 paper in the Indian Journal of Labour Economics by K.P. Kannan and K.S. Hari put the number of Kerala immigrants abroad with an identifiable household to report in Kerala at 2.12 million in 2020, which the authors noted works out to a little more than 6% of the population but 17 to 18% of its workforce. A steady rise in international emigration from Kerala has also meant a growing flow of remittance incomes. Kannan and Hari estimates that the share of remittance in Kerala's net state domestic product NSDP increased from almost nothing 0.57% in 1972 to 1973 to almost one-fourth in the first and second decade of the century. While this number has come down since, it was still a significant 13.3% in 2019 and 2020, the latest period for which data is available. The paper also constructs something called Modified State Incomes MSI to account for the positive impact of remittance incomes on official NSDP, which the authors argue does not capture the positive impact of remittances adequately. The paper argues that additional remittance incomes have led to a reduction in propensity to consume and an increase in propensity to save. The savings have primarily been directed to house construction, investment in gold, and financial assets. The authors note Kerala had the highest share of construction, 13.7% in its gross value added among India's state in 2018 to 2019. The latest period for which data is available for all states in the Center for Monitoring Indian Economies CMIE database. The All India share was just 8% in 2018 to 2019. It is ironical that the last surviving communist bastion is the state where labor is scarce and remittances are a key driver of the economy. Hello viewers, I think you like this video. If you really like, you means kindly share to your friends and relatives, as well as kindly subscribe this channel, Aravindar Anne Arul channel. Thank you for watching this video in full.